been a huge fan of fighting games. Sure, I've enjoyed my Tekken from here and there and Soul Calibur, but in general, I stay away from games that really kind of require you to learn and master one of these arcade sticks here. But I know it's something missing from my collection, so if you watch the channel or on my social media, you know I recently picked up a whole bunch of Dreamcast stuff, including this arcade stick here. It's not the worst arcade stick in the world, it's in pretty good shape, and it actually works pretty well. But the buttons are a little bit sticky, and I really didn't care for that too much. Plus, I wanted an excuse to dig into this and see what makes it tick. Now, as far as I know, this Dreamcast Fight Stick was official, but it was produced and manufactured by a company called Agitech or H-Tech. I'm not sure how you say it. They were distributed by Sega in Japan, and I'm pretty sure by H-Tech in the US. I think it's called the Green Goblin or something because of this unique green look to it, which didn't fit the Dreamcast aesthetic at all, but still a little bit endearing after all these years. What I found out is that there isn't a whole lot of information on modding this or improving it or repairing it. And the reason is because the stuff on this is not exactly standard issue arcade buttons and arcade sticks. In fact, these buttons here are a little bit bigger than the 30mm ones that are used to be in arcade sticks, and I found out the hard way that there is some modding involved with Dremels and cutting away and things like that if you want to put buttons in. Or is there? There's lots of great tutorials online on how to do this kind of stuff, but I found a place called folksattack.com. This isn't a paid promotion, they didn't pay me to say it, and there's no links. I will link what I bought to do this in the description if you're curious, and maybe we'll put the part numbers here in the video somewhere, just because I spent a lot of time reading about this, and if it saves you the trouble, great, that'll be fantastic. But this company makes a whole bunch of stuff for the HKT 7300. I had to make sure I said the right thing. HKT 7300 is the model of this fight stick here. They make replacement panels, so you don't have to Dremel out the actual panel like this. You can keep it, save it, decorate with it, whatever you want to do. And they make adapters for the wiring inside of this, and you'll see what I mean in a second. The wirings for the buttons here have a, I guess you can say, unique setup. So in order to use modern buttons, the Sanwa buttons, you have to have a harness adapter. So what I did was I bought a few things. Let's go take a look at those things. First thing I bought was this adapter plate. It's a plexiglass adapter plate. It is a clear plexiglass adapter plate, and this will go over here. Now what this allows is it allows the Dreamcast Fight Stick, arcade stick, to adapt to the Sanwa 30mm standard size buttons, which, by the way, those are hanging out right here. I didn't get these off Focus Attack. I just got them off Amazon. I think they're just kind of like a commodity. And I got them off Amazon because I thought this project would get done a long time ago, and it has not. So anyways, I got the buttons here. They feel good. They look cool. We're going to replace these here with these buttons from Sanwa, and we won't have to Dremel this panel here because we have this adapter, which should give us the space we need to adapt these actual size buttons to these undersized buttons here. Now, to make all the magic happen, we have to buy these adapters, and I'm sure you could wire one up yourself. In fact, people do. That's not me. The reason I wanted to do this in the first place, I've been so excited to do this, is because I found a way to do the mod without soldering. So this will plug into the wiring harness inside the controller itself, and these two will go across. I don't think order matters. The buttons here like so. So we'll plug this into one side, plug that in the other side, fish the button through, we'll all be winners. Because this is a clear plexiglass insert, and I don't know what's really under here except just gray plastic, I decided I want to try to do something kind of cool or special, and I hit Regretsy, and I picked up some of these round stickers from Marvel vs. Capcom and from Mortal Kombat. So my thought process is to use all this like dead space here on the inside and decorate it with pretty stickers. Now when I do that, I'm also going to need to make sure I label the buttons and what they are, and I went to, I think it was Michael's, and I managed to pick up these alphabet stickers here. We'll find ones that work so I can have X, Y, Z, and A, B, C clearly defined. I think the only thing left is kind of just get into it and see what this is going to involve. Now I have my tools over here. I'm going to go and grab those, and we'll be ready to go. Before we get into actually taking this fight stick apart and modding it to the best of my ability, let me give this disclaimer that I'm not responsible for any damage you do to your equipment. You take things apart and modify things that you own at your own risk. If I mess this up, then I'm out of fight stick. It's all my fault. I don't take any responsibility for anything that you do to your equipment on your own. This isn't a tutorial, I'm not an expert, and this is just for pure entertainment purposes, and hopefully you are entertained by my struggles or triumphs. We'll see what happens in a second here. We're going to set the camera up so you kind of see a side view over here, and we'll go from there and we'll see in a second. Alright, so the first thing I had to do is I had to hold with a pair of pliers here, the stick, just gently, and I used something to cover it so I didn't scratch it, to break the seal here on this the ball top here. I'm not sure why it was so tight, but that'll come right off first. Now, I don't really know what I want to do to disassemble this, in what order I want to do things, so if this looks weird or this is wrong, trust me, I agree with you, it probably is. Leave that on the side. They taped this up, and I thought there was damage to it, but I think the reason the person taped it up who owned it before me was to prevent stuff from kind of getting down in there, either liquid or some kind of dust and debris. So in that sense, that was actually a really good idea because it looks really clean down in that plastic for the stick itself. I'm going to pop this open here and just get an idea of what I'm looking at. And then we're going to start taking it apart. So, oh, that's pretty. That's really pretty. It's not going to stay pretty forever. It's going to stay, it's going to look really, really bad with fingerprints after a while, but this looks like it will legit do what I want it to do. So there we go. Quick dry run. Put that off to the side. And I guess I'm going to start from the, no, start from the top. Start from the top. Why not? I believe the screws on top are a Torx T10. I'm going to be using this screwdriver here to make it speed up a little bit faster. All right, well, I thought that would come right off. That does not. So we'll go and we'll start digging down here. Now this is going to be a good old-fashioned Phillips head. Go ahead and use one of those. Okay, I guess I got the bottom off. All right, little bit of rust. Nothing crazy. I'm not too concerned about that. In fact, I'm not concerned at all. Inside looks really, really clean. Nothing really wrong here. No sign of anything. This is really well taken care of. I'm going to push like this, ha ha ha, and that will loosen up our control board up here. So now the next step is, how do I actually go about taking these off? My goal was to replace one at a time, but I think I'm going to have to do what I saw other people do, which is slowly and gently remove the connectors off each one of these, which are really, really on there. So what we're going to do is, the eventual goal is to take each one of these connectors off carefully and slowly because they are glued on somehow. Then plug one of these in, then put the button up there, feed it down into this well, and then connect the new button on either side. I haven't decided the order of the colors. I don't think I really care. I'm just going to, whatever I grab is the color it's going to be, but I don't want to hurt these connectors here. So nice and easy. All right, well, there's a whole bunch of gunk that holds these connectors onto the buttons themselves. And that's not really the worst thing in the world, although you need to be patient with it. If you're going to try to take that off and do what I'm doing, which is attach these, I guess you can call them splitters, rabbit ears, whatever. But what I did was I took very slowly the connector itself. I pulled with a dental pick and with some small pliers all the gunk off of it so I could then plug in this connector here that gives me the leads I need for these standard Sanwa buttons right here. Now I'm going to, at first I was going to do one button at a time. I don't know how possible that is, so instead what I did was I took a marker, a Sharpie, I labeled this as Z on the connector. I'm hopefully not going to touch that at all because the last thing I want to do is swap buttons around or put them in the wrong positions. So this is going to be a slow process for me to take these buttons up one by one. We're going to record the whole thing and speed it up for you, and hopefully it looks like I'm getting something done, but I assure you, I'm probably getting frustrated and tired. So anyways, without further ado, let's move on to the next button. It didn't take a whole lot of time, maybe about 10 minutes here. Hopefully you enjoyed the sped up footage. But you can see I took out all the original wiring harnesses on the backs of these buttons on the original, whatever you want to call it, the Agitech buttons here. That goop that was on there that glued them in place, I see why they did it because you want to make sure it stays. And they're just like little, I don't know what you want to call them, blades here that connect them. Either way, that's all gone. There's that plate there, and whatever the sticky stuff is, it's still sticky. So 20 some years in storage, still sticky. This is a heavy steel plate here. We're not going to be using this. Instead, we'll be using this guy here, and I think we have to pop our buttons into the top of that first. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and see what it looks like on the other side. Now I'm going to leave my button mess alone right here, because it is a mess for sure. And I'm going to flip this upside down so you can see what the top of it looks like. And just like I thought, we have a whole bunch of blank space here. That is perfect, because I'm going to start putting the stickers on, and actually I'm going to ask my wife to help me. And I want to see what we're going to see. What can you see? So when we put that back on, you can see pretty much the whole thing. I want to make a point to say that the company I bought this from does offer inserts with like graphics and designs on them. I didn't opt for that because I want to do my own thing. Now we're going to see if that was a good option or not in a minute here, but off we go. The next time you see this, well, we're gonna start stickering this, and hopefully it'll look pretty cool, sped up as a montage. And then we'll put the buttons in, zip it up, and I'm hoping we're good to go. So stay tuned. I thought I would have too many stickers. Turns out I really didn't have enough to do everything I wanted to do. But the proof of concept's still there. And when you put the buttons in, which you might have seen earlier, it actually looks pretty neat because I was aiming for a well-loved fight stick aesthetic that you would have been in high school or maybe middle school, maybe even your early college years. And you would have gotten to different tournaments and put different stickers in there with your favorite games. And that's what I was really kind of aiming for. So I know that a lot of people will probably hate the way this looks and think that I should have kept the original plate or I should have gotten a one cohesive insert, but I'm aiming for one of those like nostalgia trip setups for this design here where you got all these stickers, you collect all these stickers. Where do you put them? You put them on your favorite fight stick. So that's what I aimed for, and I actually like it. And if you don't like it, that's okay. You don't got to live with it, but I'm sure some people are very upset. So there's a right way for this to go on this plexiglass cover, and that is where the countersinking is. So where it grooves down, the screw holes where they groove down, that's the correct way to put it on. I think this is the correct order of operations where I put the buttons in next, and it looks pretty cool actually. Sink them in there real good. And what I'm going to do first, after I put these buttons in, is I'm going to go ahead and screw the top down because I don't think that's going to have to come off again. So I'm going to be real gentle. These are countersunk torque screws. I'm going to be real gentle. We're going to actually do a pattern. Oh, God, I just cracked it. Oh, boy, I just cracked it. Wow, that is not... Oh, man. Well, power tools beware. That did not... This is not a strong torqued down thing, but that cracked instantly. All right, so rule number one, if you buy this, do not, under any circumstances, use anything to torque it down other than your fingers. Oh my gosh, wow, that cracked too. Wow, it's pre-cracked, just like your favorite fight stick back in the day. I'm starting to see why this is made of steel, because that would not have done that. So let me tell you the reason I bought this plexiglass one is because I didn't want to have to Dremel this out here. I probably will never take it back to stock, ever, ever. I probably never do that, but I always want to be able to take it back to stock pretty quickly. Anyways, actually, you know what? Before I put the stick back on, I'm going to go ahead and swap this over here. And now we're going to start plugging the buttons in. So and here we go. The big reveal. I don't know if anyone else out there likes this, but I certainly do. Such a happier looking arcade stick than the Green Giant, the Green Goblin, whatever you want to call it. It came out exactly as I expected it to. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. It's definitely an improvement, in my opinion, over what I had before. But this might not be everyone's favorite design. And like I said, you can make your own insert. They do their own inserts on that website. The little stickers I use to show the letters of the buttons, those actually worked out pretty well, even though they're hard to find. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it looks like it looks like it should. It looks like it's a relic from the era in which it would have been enjoyed. And here's our second full reveal. Everything's back together in one piece. I really like this. I think it looks a lot cooler. It's not that the gray and green isn't a classic nostalgia thing, but for me, this is a lot more fun to look at. And yeah, I really like this. Those buttons look awesome. They feel really good. But I guess there's only one way to see if this actually works or not, and that's to test it out on our Dreamcast. So let's get to testing. So this works so far. That's the good news. So it didn't do any damage to the stick. I didn't do any damage to anything else. See if A works. Ready? Yeah, okay. Button works. One button works so far. Now we gotta see if the rest of the buttons work. Let's press the start button. All right, the start button works. Didn't mess with that. Let's press that. And I wonder if there's like a mode I can go to test the buttons out and make sure they all work. Okay, I guess I press a button. Right, so we're playing. Oh, they're very sensitive. That's what it is. Oh yeah, you barely touch them and you get a response out of them. That's pretty cool. Okay. I don't know who I'm picking, by the way. I've always wanted to be good at this game like most humans, but I'm never going to be good at this game. So I'm just going to button mash and see what happens. Versus training mode. Okay, that works. That works. Whatever this button does, it makes Spider-Man appear. I like that button. Yeah, that works too. Okay. That one makes Cable appear. That works great. Okay. Well, I think we did it. I think we actually did a job. We actually got it fixed. They're very, very responsive buttons. I mean, really responsive. I'm a fighting game expert. Just press random buttons and win. It feels great. I mean, honestly, this is wonderful. Yeah, I think we did it. Here's what I learned from the modding experience. First off, a few things went wrong. I definitely cracked the plexiglass. I'll blame that on me and not understanding just how delicate that plexiglass was or whatever it's called. Maybe it's an acrylic panel. I don't know. I have to look it up. Either way, I have to be more careful with that panel in the future if I do this again. Second off, you can never have enough stickers. I should have bought more, but this right here looks pretty good as it is. The buttons are working great, and the wiring harnesses were definitely worth it. I don't know what I would have done without that. It would have been a lot of soldering, and I'm not really good at that. Although I don't think it would have been the most complicated solder job you can do. Either way, I'm really happy that I found out how to modify and add newer components to these Dreamcast arcade sticks. It's a lot of fun to use this, and I'm getting addicted slowly but surely to fighting games that utilize these sticks here. I think I might try to look for some for more modern systems too. I know I'll have fun with them, and I think the kids at Game Club will also really enjoy these. In fact, I brought this in last week. They really did enjoy fighting games with the arcade sticks. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed coming along on that journey with me. Hopefully, it was entertaining, and if you want to try it yourself, it's at your own risk, but I think it's pretty worth it and it's pretty cool looking. Anyways, we'll see you in the next one.